telescopes at the ready, Howard Parkin is here for this month's edition of the MANX Sky at Night.
The Nation Station, MANX Radio.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
And that familiar music tells us it's time to welcome Howard Parkin with this month's edition of the MANX Sky at Night, an opportunity for us to see what we're going to enjoy in our MANX skies during the month of December, and also to catch up on just some of the space stories that'll be dominating the news. So, welcome, Howard Parkin.
Yes, good evening, Judith. It's great to be here again, and there's so much going on in the night sky once again. It's just incredible. We've not had particularly good weather recently, but the cold nights have certainly made the clarity of the sky better for us. And we do get the wonderful stars of winter rising and visible from this sort of time of the year. So what I thought we'd do is have a good look at the stars for the month of December. Basically, we have far more brighter stars in the month of December than we have any other time of the year. This is because the winter constellations, which are really very, very bright, it's just coincidence that the Earth, as it goes around the sun, gives us these bright stars in our evening sky. Have a thought for the poor people in the southern hemisphere, of course, get the bright winter constellations in their summer. But we get the wonderful stars of Orion and Taurus and Gemini, and there's a big patch of sky called the winter hexagon, and the winter hexagon actually comprises 7 stars, not 7, the 6, the 7 stars. And when you add 3 of Orion's belt and also the star Betelgeuse in the middle, we've got 11 of the brightest stars, the top 30 brightest stars in the night sky, all visible at one time as we head through December and into the new year.
I do like the sound of Betelgeuse. OK, right, Howard. So if we get some nice clear skies, what planets might we see in our December skies?
Yes, Judith, we're blessed at the moment with lots of planets in the sky at the moment. We've even had Mercury just about visible on the horizon, just below on the western horizon. But very, very dominant in our skies over the Peel area at the moment is the planet Venus. Venus has finally come away from the lighter sky on the western horizon as the sun goes down, is now going into a darker sky as it pulls away from the sun and heads to what we call elongation. This is very, very bright. It's the brightest object in our sky after the sun and the moon, and it really is quite magnificent to look at. Lots of people get it confused with the Star of Bethlehem, and there is some stories that could have been, but it isn't. The one I do is of a different subject, which is maybe something we can talk about at a later date. But no, Venus is very, very bright, and as it passes between the Earth and the sun, obviously sometimes it's further away from the sun than it normally is, and this is when it elongates, and it's elongating in the evening sky at the moment, and then in not too many months' time, later on next year, it'll go around the other way and appear in our morning sky. But to have it in our winter when the skies are dark and we've got this wonderful crystal clear sky when it's cold and frosty, Venus is magnificent to look at. What I want you to do now, though, however, is turn right round and look towards the other horizon, look towards the southeastern horizon, and you'll see another very bright object in our sky. This is the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter, like Venus, is very, very bright indeed. Venus does actually beat Jupiter, not by much, but it is slightly brighter than Jupiter. But Jupiter, of course, always seen in a dark sky, goes through what we call opposition. We've just mentioned about elongation, about Venus moving away from the sun. Well, when a planet is the other side of the sun from the other side of the Earth from the sun, it goes through opposition. And Jupiter is at opposition on the 9th of December. This means it'll be visible all night long, very bright and very easy to see. And if you get a pair of binoculars or a small telescope on Jupiter, you'll see up to 4 little stars orbiting each side of it. And these are the moons, the Galilean moons of Jupiter, which, of course, Galileo saw back in 1610 when he first used the telescope. And it made him realize that Copernicus was right and that the Earth does go around the sun, not the other way around. A slightly bigger telescope will show Jupiter as a distinct disk, and you might see two dark bands on it. These are the equatorial bands of Jupiter. Jupiter is a vast, huge planet, 80 odd times the size of our Earth, but it orbits on its own axis, or spins on its own axis, in just 12 hours. This means there's magnificent bands you can see are the dust, not dust, sorry. These are the cloud bands of Jupiter, the upper atmosphere of Jupiter, and they show these features in the upper atmosphere of Jupiter, which really do dominate the view of it. And look through at any telescopic pictures or any spacecraft pictures of Jupiter, you'll see these pictures in all their glory. Not far from below Jupiter, we have rising at about 10, 11 o'clock at night, the red-coloured planet Mars. Mars is very bright as well, getting brighter and brighter as it heads towards its opposition early next year. Mars, of course, object of great fascination for us because we think that Mars is a place where we're likely to get men and women walking on, hopefully sometime in the next 10 to 15 years. But not to be outdone, we've also got the planet Saturn in our skies at the moment. The planet Saturn, much, much fainter, and in a much fainter part of the sky, so it does stand out quite easily. If you know your stars at all, find the square of Pegasus, which is one of the autumn constellations setting now in the west. Follow the right-hand line down, you'll come to a bright star, which is called Fomalhaut, and below Fomalhaut, you've got a faint star, not too faint, as bright as Fomalhaut, but there's no other bright object in this part of the sky. This is the planet Saturn. So we can actually see all of the planets in our sky in December. Just about get a glimpse of Mercury below Venus in the early part of December. Then we've got Venus, Saturn, Jupiter and Mars. So it's a great time to be doing some planetary observation if you've got the telescope and the dark skies and the clear nights to do it. So I do hope some of the listeners will be happy to look for those, and let us know how you get on.
Right, we will do. But now, Howard, didn't you promise us a good meteor shower in December?
Of course, we have the Geminid meteor shower, one of the best meteor showers in the year. The Geminids peak around the 12th, 13th, 14th of December. But unfortunately, we have a full moon on the 15th, and this means that the fainter meteors are going to be drowned out. What you should do, though, is go outside around midnight, which is the best time to look at meteors anyway, as I said before. The moon will be setting around midnight, so when the moon sets, you may get a chance to see some good Geminid meteors. Give it a go and see what you think. And if that's not enough for you, we've also got the Ursid meteors. The Ursid meteor shower peaks around about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and usually gets forgotten in all the festivities. But this shower doesn't get affected by the moonlight, even though there isn't any this year, because this constellation, Ursa Major, is where the Ursid meteor shower comes from, is on the northern horizon, and therefore the moonlight wouldn't interfere anyway. So give it a go and see how you get on.
We certainly will. And while you get your breath back and put your space suit on, let's have our music break, courtesy of Van Morrison.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies. You know the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. You know I'm trying to please to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. You know the night's magic seem to whisper and hush. You know the soft moonlight seems to shine in your blush. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, oh, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, oh, my love? Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning has come. Yet I know now the time is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. And when you come, my heart will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. And every time I touch you, you just tremble inside. Then I know how much you want me that you can't hide. Can I just have one more moon dance with you? my love. It's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make a romance near the cover of October skies. All the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. And I'm trying to place to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. In all the night's magic seems to whisper and hush. In all the soft moonlight seems to shine in your blush. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, oh my love? Or can I just make some more romance with you, oh my love? One more moon dance with you in the moonlight on a magic night. The moonlight on a magic night. Can I just have one moment dance with you, my love?
You're listening to this month's edition of the Manx Sky at Night with Howard Parkin. And Van Morrison's Moon Dance leads us neatly into our space report. So, out of all the stories in the news recently, and there certainly seems to be a lot of them, what's caught your attention, Howard?
And the world of spaceflight, of course, just doesn't seem to end at the moment. The world of what's going on with the world in space is just incredible. And there can't be many people who haven't realised that the SpaceX are really pushing ahead with their own development program. And SpaceX launched their Starship 6 mission only a few days ago now. And whilst this one wasn't as spectacular as the previous one, it was great because it fulfilled all their objectives. They did get a note or information, some data to tell them that the landing the booster back in the chopsticks wasn't going to happen this time because there's a slight problem. So they soft landed it, if that's the right word, out at sea. But what they managed to do was bring it down to a speed that it would have been able to have landed it possibly on land if there hadn't been that error that came up. But this is still early days yet. It's only 6 missions in, and they're getting closer and closer. And this time, the Starship, actually, the orbital spaceship, Starship, again came down to a splashdown in the ocean. And this time they carried a banana on board. They carried a banana on board to see about whether it went weightless, which of course it did. And obviously to be the first cargo they can take back out of a Starship that they've landed back on Earth. So exciting stuff. And of course, so it goes on because Starship and SpaceX are going ahead with all sorts of missions at the moment. And it's difficult, as I say, to keep pace with them. It'll be a few more months yet before the astronauts went up in June this year. The astronauts went up in June this year. We'll be coming back on the Starship Dragon in February. And in the meantime, we've got the Chinese Tiangong mission, 3 Chinese taikonauts. They call their astronauts taikonauts. The crew of 3, which had been up there for some time, they were joined by a further crew of 3. And the 6 of them were on board for a short while before the original 3 came back down. And now, of course, they're back to a crew of 3. So we've got the astronauts on board the International Space Station, and we've got the astronauts on board the Chinese space station. But the big news at the moment is the fact that China have just announced recently that they're going to try and bring forward their ability to bring back some samples from the surface of Mars. They had said they were going to do this in 2030 with a return about 2032, but now they're saying they're going to try and do the launch in 2028 and bringing the mission and the samples back from Mars in about 2030. Now, if I'm a betting man, this is going to accelerate the American program. The American program has been in trouble recently because the budget overruns and the cost and everything else have meant that they have to look long and hard at the viability of the mission itself. I don't think they will cancel the mission. I think they'll pull the money from somewhere else, and they'll probably accelerate their mission and try to get their samples back first. Interesting times. We've almost got another space race on the go at the moment, but we'll wait and see what happens. We've also had the launch a few months ago now of the spacecraft that's going to go and examine the moon Didymos and see about the impact that took place last year on that to try and deflect an object coming towards the Earth. That took place, and now the Chinese have announced they're going to do their own mission as well. And added to that, the Americans have got plans for their probe to Enceladus, the moon round Saturn, where there may be primitive life under the oceanic crust, the ice crust on Enceladus. This is a mission that's being planned to be launched now in about 2032, getting to Enceladus and giving us results in the late 2030s. It's all go at the moment, Judith, and keep listening and we'll tell you what's going on.
Now, Howard, your next programme's going to be on the final Sunday of December. That's the 29th. So you'll be able to tell us if Santa brought you that new telescope that you're hankering after. I know you've written to him. Oh, yes, I do. I know these things. But probably more importantly, when you come and see us again on the 29th, you'll be able to tell us what's going to be in our New Year skies in January 2025.
Well, it's been great doing these shows throughout the last 12 months, Judith. Long may it continue. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish all the listeners a very, very happy Christmas with lots of clear skies and hopefully more exciting things to talk about in the world of astronomy and the world of space. Thank you very much.
Gura Mayard, Howard, and a very early happy Christmas to you too.